Well, this is news just in now. 2 people have been allegedly beheaded in Chatsworth in the south of Durban. The details are sketchy at this stage. Our reporter Desan Tatia has just arrived on the scene. He joins us now. Desan, good afternoon. This certainly could be a very grisly story here. What happened?
Definitely, Devin, and all of this started just before we even arrived here. There were videos that were circulating, so what had taken place here on Taurus Road in Chatsworth. And just behind me is that crime scene that many would have seen in some of these very gruesome videos that really shouldn't be circulated at all. But what they had showed was that there were 2 people that were beheaded and set alight just outside a home on the left of the frame now. And the person who lives in that home is Yaganathan Pillay. He's better known as Terry Mafia, and he's a suspected drug kingpin that had been living in Chatsworth. And many in the community are quite familiar with him. He's also been in the news quite a lot. We've received news just now that although he was shot and taken to hospital earlier, he has now passed on in hospital. And just to unpack the events a little further, you will understand, Devin, that it is all very fresh, and even police are trying to make sense of the events. But I'm going to bring in Jay Naika now. Brigadier, thanks for joining me. Please just take us through how these events unfolded.
Okay, from what we can gather, and as you rightly put it, it's still a bit early and information is a bit sketchy. But from what I've been told from police officers on the scene, the daughter of this well-known drug dealer was informed by her father that he was expecting visitors earlier this afternoon. She left him and went to the back of the house, and then shortly after that, she heard gunshots. And when they investigated, they found that he had been shot. He was rushed to hospital, and where we told he later passed on. In the interim, the community had apprehended 2 of the alleged attackers. They were assaulted in this open area. There's videos and pictures circulating of them being beheaded, and they were then set alight. When police officers arrived on the scene, responding to reports of gunshots in the area, they came under attack from this very community. To such an extent, quite a long standoff between the community and the police. We eventually had to call in the public order policing unit, who had to use to disperse this crowd that had gathered here. When we got into the scene, we found the 2 bodies that have been burned beyond recognition. There is no exhibits in the scene, unfortunately. As you know, the community had been here, and if there was anything like firearms, it probably was taken by this very community. We don't know at this stage if the suspects came on foot or whether they came with a vehicle.
Any other suspects that could have been behind this attack?
It could be, but we don't know. The community around here is not very cooperative. We know that most of them support this drug dealer for many years, and very often would not to cooperate with the police. So things are a bit tense here. The community is not liking the fact that police are on the scene. Obviously, he was revered by this community, and they want to rather resort to mob justice.
Brigadier, just for those who may not know the extent of Mr. Pillay's dealings in this area, just perhaps a bit of background in terms of his other clashes with police.
Yes, he's been arrested numerous times by police, by various police units. Those matters are being investigated at a very high level by the Hawks. The status of those cases, I don't know. I'm not privy to that at this stage.
And just last year, there was another shooting, I believe, where his son had passed on?
Yes, there's been a number of shootings in this area where family members have passed on, yes.
Okay. So what's the next step now for police? Has the scene been secured? Has the community calmed down somewhat?
Yes, they are calmed down. You can still hear comments being passed about the police. They're not too happy with the police being here, but we've cordoned off the scene, and we're waiting for additional investigative aids to arrive on the scene so we can proceed further in terms of the crime scene investigation.
Thank you very much, Brigadier Jay Naika. Devin, as you would have heard there, things are still quite tense here at the scene. It looks like police have a lot of work to do. The bodies have not yet been removed. In fact, just to give you an idea of what it's like here right now, just when we arrived here, there were police cars and security officials that were parked here for kilometers leading down to the main road. It's attracted the attention of almost everyone that lives around this community, and they've all gathered here to see exactly what's going to unfold next. But I think the most concerning thing is that there is a certain degree of hostility between the community as well to investigate these murders.
Yeah, no doubt. ENCA's reporter Desan Tatia there undoubtedly will follow up that very dreadful story, the shooting and killing of a suspected drug dealer, and then the beheading of suspects allegedly by the community. More details on that story as it develops.